Gareth Evans' Deathstroke movie probably isn't happening now. That is the headline on this week's Movie Burner News. And joining us as always is John. And John, this was coming in from Slash Film in regards to the Gareth Evans directed Deathstroke movie. We got hints of the character Slade Wilson at the tail end of the first part of Justice League under the name of Mr. Wilson. We knew where this was going. Joe Manganiello is playing him, and I've got to say I'm pretty disappointed in this news if it is true, because this is a character I thoroughly enjoyed in the Arrow television series. I thought the villain was probably one of the best TV villains in comic book history. Yeah. But it's very disappointing nevertheless.
Especially when they set the character up for a promising introduction into the DCEU, Stephen, at the end of Justice League. Obviously he spoke briefly with Lex Luthor. Slade Wilson, that is, Mr. Wilson, he was billed as. Yeah. Everyone knew it was Deathstroke. He was wearing the Deathstroke suit, for God's sake. I mean, I'm sitting looking at the photograph just now. Unmistakable. So I think it just sums DC and Warner Brothers up at the moment, really, in this news. You've got a great director in Gareth Evans, a guy who was involved in the 2 Raid films, amazing slick action, willing to go and make a film like this with an amazing character that is Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, as you did say. One of the best things about Arrow, that season, I can't remember which one it was, season 2 or 3, where he was terrorising all of Queen. It was a magnificent villain. So I was really looking forward to seeing this character potentially being introduced to this universe, but clearly Warner Brothers and DC have decided Justice League was an utter pile of shite. It was received badly from just about every section of society, be it the critics, the average Joe that goes to see films, DC fans, general comic fans. They didn't like the film, so they've clearly thought everything connected with that film, we're going to boot it to the curb. We'll get rid of the Man of Steel, so Henry Cavill's gone. We'll get rid of Batman, so Ben Affleck's gone. We'll keep Wonder Woman because people are connecting with strong female characters at the moment, so she's okay. And I agree with that, because Wonder Woman was the best thing, arguably outside of Man of Steel, ironically. Although poor Henry can't get a second bite at the cherry. He's getting forced into cameo roles in the upcoming Shazam film, which he, of course, told him to go and get stuffed and went and put his name to some Witcher series on Netflix. Quite right. But they've ditched all the main characters from this universe who were involved. They're not doing a Cyborg film anymore. I don't know what the hell we're getting. A Flash film. We're getting an Aquaman film, which I'm happy about, which we'll get into later in the show. So it just seems like this is again reactive. They're ditching everything that was involved with Justice League. I feel like they're either starting afresh here, Stephen, or as I'll get into after I let you in, they may even have ditched the idea of an expanded universe completely, and they've just started doing standalone films and not let anybody know yet. Maybe like a delayed reaction. But I'm disappointed because, as you do say, such an intriguing character, such a enjoyable character in Arrow, and it would have been amazing to see this guy teaming up with Lex Luthor and the carnage they could have dished out. Certainly a more intriguing duo than Steppenwolf just wrecking the joint trying to get these mother boxes. Get Lex Luthor involved more, even though I'm not a big fan of Jesse Eisenberg's take of the character, and get this guy in with him. But no, they're off doing their own thing again.
This should have been the villains they should have used in Justice League.
Exactly.
But you're right. The thing about the way this was set up at the end of it was an after credits scene. I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Yeah, I've only seen the movie once, but it definitely was a setup to move forward with the character. But as far as this article goes, Gareth Evans says it didn't get any further than those early conversations, and nothing else was done about it. But and it is a shame. It does kind of highlight DC and Warner Brothers don't know what they're doing at times, because this is one of their stronger villains, out with the Joker and Lex Luthor. I would certainly put Deathstroke probably at third in that line, you know.
You're not going to put the Riddler in there, Stephen?
No.
Jim Carrey with his campy question marks
out with the Batman villains, that is, John. But overall, from the DCEU, I think he's one of the stronger ones that a lot of people are not too familiar with, and probably know him through the Arrow television series. But again, Joe Manganiello, I I think that's how you pronounce the guy's name.
Manganiello.
Yeah. He was in Rampage, I'm pretty sure, from
yes.
from earlier this year. As I said, it's disappointing because those after credit scenes, it kind of gave us a little bit of hope after a disappointing Justice League movie. I thought that perhaps, they know what they're doing. They're going to set up a very good villain here and possibly one of the next Batman films or Man of Steel films. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen at the moment. But nevertheless, it's just a long line of promises, if you like, from DC and Warner Brothers that they're letting the fan base down again. This actually reminds me, when I read this article, it reminded me of the post-credit scenes from Masters of the Universe. I don't know if you remember, John, Skeletor came out of some kind of, I don't know if it's kind of a pool of water or something like that, and he says, "I'll get my revenge." We're still waiting, Skeletor. It's been nearly 30 years, and we've not seen you since that post-credit scene. And that's basically what this is happening here. This is exactly what's happening.
After Dolph Lundgren, Stephen?
Probably now, aye, but not in his peak, but certainly now I'd fancy my chances.
Skeletor's like one of those Japanese guys that never got over World War II. He thought it continued on, and he hid in a jungle for about 50 years. He thinks that He-Man's still out there, and his glorious 80s Adonis-like form and figure, he ain't. He's an old man now. He can come back out of hiding. Come on, Skeletor. Come on, boy. But I digress, Stephen. I do think this is a sign that the DCEU is done in its current form. I think they're either rebooting, which I think is pretty clear with the news about Henry Cavill. I think the fact Ben Affleck's done as well. They weren't happy that he ditched his script. They ditched the idea of him directing the Batman film, and he's now wanting to go. I think it's clear they're doing a reboot. It may be a soft reboot. We'll still continue on with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. We'll continue on with Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Probably Ezra Miller's Flash, although I hope not, because I love Ezra, but that running in the Justice League, it's just no. So I think we're getting a soft reboot here, or indeed, as I did hint, I think we may even be getting them changing tack completely, taking a break for a couple of years, putting out some standalones. I like to say the Joker prequel 80s one. This Jared Leto thing could be a standalone film. The Birds of Prey could be a standalone film. The 80s Wonder Woman could be a standalone film that will then project them into another universe if it works out. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing, or maybe they do, and it's all an elaborate double buff. Yeah,
they could be going down the same road as Daredevil Season 3, John, where they're not really going to emphasise any other characters throughout that series. I think this is, from the DC's point of view, they're going to do the same. I think you're right. I think Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be a standalone. I don't think we're going to get any references like we did from the first Wonder Woman film. We're certainly not going to get the likes of any cameos popping up in this, surely.
And Aquaman's a prequel story as well. You're not going to get any cameos from that. As I did say, Henry Cavill refused a cameo in Shazam, so that's a standalone prequel film again. So
it could be the way to go then. But we're going to move on, John, to this is something that dropped last week. Ironically, it was after our last movie burner news came out. This is in regards to Chris Evans officially wraps up playing Captain America. We knew this was coming, but it's always it always hits home when the actual actor who plays the character comes out and says, it's been. He said he's been playing this role for over the last 8 years, and it's been an honour. I think this was on Twitter that Chris Evans put this out on.
Yes.
And the minute the tweet dropped, it was just big news. The likes of Ryan Reynolds, he said a few comments, and the likes of Dwayne Johnson as well came out and said a few things as well. But for me personally, I remember when Chris Evans was cast as Captain America, and it just goes to show how wrong he can be, John, because I always related Chris Evans to his character in the Fantastic Four movies, which didn't really go down well with the fans, and I think he made the character his own from the very first film, the first Avenger. This was a character that when they were announcing it, I wasn't very enamoured with the whole character. I thought it was more US based, and certainly from my point of view, living here in the UK, it certainly wasn't a character I was that interested in, Captain America. But I saw that first movie and I actually preferred it to the first Iron Man movie. I preferred it to The Incredible Hulk. And this was a movie that really set the ball rolling with the MCU, in my opinion. You know, you got your cameo of Tony Stark in The Incredible Hulk and that kind of thing, and Nick Fury and Iron Man, but I liked that cameo from Nick Fury at the end of the first Avenger when Steve Rogers wakes up, and they've created this setting to make him feel like it's still the 1940s, and then at the very end he runs out into the street and he sees, you know, where he is in Times Square and all that, and it's modern day, and that really just ignited the whole MCU, in my opinion. For me anyway, that was the experience I got. And he's been such a dedicated actor to the role as well of Steve Rogers, Captain America, for the last 8 years. It doesn't feel that long, but I still say that the Captain America trilogy is the best trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, from all the characters, out with the Avengers stuff. I don't think there's a bad film. The first Avenger movie was amazing. The second movie, The Winter Soldier, was phenomenal. It's probably my second favourite Marvel film. And Civil War, what can you say about that? It was just an epic film. Probably wasn't a Captain America film, although it was labelled as a Captain America film. It was more like a sort of mini version of an Avengers film, but it's still but it was a very good fitting third part to that trilogy. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm very disappointed to see, but it's not a big surprise that he's stepping away.
Yeah, you're going to see more and more of this, Stephen. There's going to be a whole host of actors who have been playing these characters for the best part of a decade. They're going to step away, but reaching the end of an era with the MCU, which is a shame, because you did say that some of them they're synonymous with these characters now. The likes of Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. It's going to be sad to see him go. I think he's gone as well. I think the character's going to bite the dust as well. I think Tony Stark's definitely dying in this next Avengers film. Unlike Captain America and Steve Rogers, I don't think he's going to die in the film. I think he's just going to step away into the sunset, which will leave up the possibility of him maybe coming back in the future. I doubt it, though. I think what we'll see is him handing over the reins to Bucky to take over as Captain America, thrusting him into that role. That'll give that character a bit of freshness. See how he's going to react to the taking on the persona of Captain America. I think that happens in the comic run as well. I've never read it, but I'm pretty sure that happens. Steve Rogers steps away and hands the mantle of being Captain America over to his friend Bucky. But as you did say, what a trilogy. For me, this is the greatest trilogy in the MCU. The first film gets a lot of stick. I've really enjoyed the first Avenger. I love the prequel setting, just the story of him becoming Captain America, this skinny little guy, just the effects and everything, growing into the persona of Captain America, fighting Hugo Weaving's Red Skull. I thought that was a brilliant antagonist. Really pleased he popped back up again in Infinity War. And just the on-off relationship that's transcended the whole trilogy, and then further on into the MCU with him and Bucky Barnes, obviously Sebastian Stan. I love that character, I love the actor, I think he's phenomenal. And also, as you did say, The Winter Soldier, for me, probably one of my favourite MCU films. Just an incredible film. Robert Redford in there. Again, you've got an amazing story, amazing visuals, amazing character, just seeing the growth of him. And then Civil War, you're right, it's like Avengers 2.5, it's like choose your side, big epic story. And of course in the comic run he actually dies in the Civil War. He didn't in this take of a character in the MCU. He survived. So all in all, an amazing run he's had as this character, just perfectly suited for playing it. He's got the looks, he's got the acting chops, he's just been incredible, and it's sad to see that he's hanging up the shield, but it's part of life. People start getting older, they want to move on, develop their career, develop their roles, move away. They don't want to be typecast to a specific role. But certainly he's been outside the character, he's played other roles outside of the MCU, and he's shown that he's a very good actor. But I don't think it's the end of the actual character. I think the character will live on, but he's just stepping away. But yeah, it's sad. It's an end of an era, and I'm, as I says in my reply to him, he didn't read it. Obviously, I says no, thank you, Chris, because he's thanked the fans for everything they've done, and I said thank you because he's been absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite Avengers, maybe even my favourite.
Yeah, and we're going to move on, John, to this trailer that dropped a few days ago,
Yes.
and it's Aquaman, starring Jason Momoa. There is an extended version of the trailer out there on YouTube. I certainly didn't pick that one up. It was the first trailer I picked up, but you introduced me to the 5-minute version, John.
Yes.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked the pacing of it. The music was epic. And it looks like Warner Brothers are on to a winner here. Some people are already saying it's going to succeed where the Justice League didn't. I can believe that. I think it will. That's my prediction.
It would have been really bad if it didn't.
Yeah, it certainly
Really
would. And I'm just happy to see this trailer because I like Jason Momoa as a person. I think what we've seen so far of him as a character of Aquaman as well has been very interesting. And a lot of people moaning about the visuals in this trailer. I didn't see that many bad visuals, I've got to be honest with you. You've got to remember this is a set in fantasy land. You can't really base it on real life, really. You know, certainly those underwater scenes look epic. They put the Phantom Menace's Gungan City to shame. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, John. The cast as well, which we'll get into in a little moment. There's a lot of names there I didn't realise were connected to the movie, which I'm pleased to see. We'll get into that, as I said. But what was your initial reactions to the trailer, John? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I didn't mind the extended version either. The only sort of worry I've got is they might be shown as the best parts.
Yeah, I hope not, Stephen. I really do, because this the trailer's amazing. Hopefully they're just showing as early parts in the film. Like you tend to get in a Marvel film, parts that are not really significant to the main story going forward. I don't think they are showing us everything. We're seeing little snippets of some epic battles. Also, this I think is about the various different tribes under the 7 Seas. I think that's what the premise was, and we spoke about this the last time we were discussing the first trailer. And it says it was going to be based off of a comic run surrounding Aquaman and obviously him uniting the 7 Seas. And just it was going to be an epic civil war between all these tribes, and we see it in the trailer. We see tribes with it's almost like crocodile things are riding, and sea horses, and you've got those, I can't remember what they're called, the beasts that you see them going down with the flare under the water again, and it's a slightly more extended this time. You see them going a little bit further, and those thousands of those things are all following them. You've got the Fisherman King in there, played by Jimon Hunsu, and also you've got Patrick Wilson. He plays a slightly more prominent role. I don't know if he's a brother to Arthur. I don't know if that's true. I've not read the comic book run, but certainly it seems like that's the case. He's the Ocean Master. And there was some great moments in there. What I took from it mostly, though, was we can see the chemistry between Amber Heard's Mira and Jason Momoa's Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman. It's pretty clear they're going to have some great moments. The banter between them, him saying show off, we could have peed on it, and her replying with some witty retorts and stuff. It's great, the banter between them, and just obviously that scene as well going to Atlantis. I enjoyed that particularly because I have been watching videos of a guy on YouTube, I can't remember what his name is, discussing the potential location of Atlantis, and he goes through all of the breakdowns of pros and cons and why, and it's pretty clear. It's like, I think it's the Eye of the Sahara, the cat structure it's called. It's in Western Africa, so that was cool. Someone involved in this film, I don't know if it's James Wan or anybody else, has done the research, so like that. Also like the chase scene, the extended chase scene of Mira getting chased with Black Manta and his cronies. That was amazing. That just showcased James Wan's style, his cinematic style, his ability to manipulate the camera, the way it follows her in one shot all the way through, then it zooms into Arthur and then it goes back to her. That was very, very cool. I like the pacing, loved the music, I love the cinematography, as I did say. This guy's been involved in a number of films, really good films, including The Conjuring 2, worked with James Wan before. And all in all, I really enjoyed it. I liked the visuals for the main as well. I don't understand people saying the visuals are crap. I seen one person saying that during the chase scene, the blaster shots going to Mira were painted on with MS Paint. I'd love to see these people getting involved in the process of making these effects come to life. They'll quickly realise how difficult it is. It ain't easy. These are gimps. You don't know what you're talking about. Lay off. And as obviously, as we did say in a previous thing as well, certainly I did, James Wan hinted at the complexity of these effects, obviously with it being an underwater setting, and it would take a bit longer to get them into place. So there is a potential that they're still trying to put them into place even just now and finalising things. So, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. I liked the chemistry, I liked the introduction of the characters. Again, it's hinting at this backstory of Arthur Curry coming from land. I think they say man of the land, man of the sea. Someone says they screwed up with the narration. It should have been man of the land, prince of the sea. So him coming in, his backstory, how he unites the seas and becomes Aquaman, very cool. And the moment with the trident as well, Stephen made, that was cool.
Yeah, best bit for me was that long sequence. It's classic James Wan, John, as you said. If you can get more of that in the movie, then you're on to a winner. But just looking at the cast as well, John, it seems to be a who's who of comic book actors. You know, you've got the likes of Nicole Kidman, who played Chase Meridian in Batman Forever. Yeah. You've got Dolph Lundgren. He was the original Frank Castle from, this must have been way back in the late 80s, early 90s, The Punisher. Mm-hmm. You've got Patrick Wilson, who played Night Owl in the Watchmen movies, and Willem Dafoe as well, who played the Green Goblin as well in those. I think he played it in the original Spider-Man movie, but I think he made a cameo as well in the third one, that really poor one. But it's Graham McTavish, our very own Graham McTavish is in there as well, and Tamura Morrison, he's playing Thomas Curry in the movie. So, I mean, there's a lot of names in there that I wasn't sure were connected with this movie, but I think this movie is going to be probably right up there with Wonder Woman as far as how it succeeds at the box office. I think Jason Momoa is perfectly cast as well, and I'm looking forward to it. It was a great trailer. We're not that far away from it now. It hits the theatres on 21st of December, a few days before Christmas. I think it's a good time for it to come out as well. I think it's a week or two after Mary Poppins, so it's not really going to be affected by Disney's release anyway, and thoroughly enjoying it. We're going to move on though, John, to our next topic. This came in from Screen Rant the other day, and it's Halloween 2018 sequel is reportedly in development at Blumhouse. It's going to be very tough really to talk about this, how this is going to go, because we've not obviously seen the 2018 release yet. We don't get it for another few weeks. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks away. The Danny McBride Halloween movie. Thoroughly looking forward to seeing this movie. But they're already talking about a sequel in the works. This kind of gives me a lot of hope for this movie. It's just about to come out. The other thing though, it kind of gives us a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
Michael Myers
he survives.
Exactly. But will the Jamie Lee Curtis character survive? That's probably the bigger question here. Who knows? But it does fill me with a lot of confidence, this little article that came in from Screen Rant in regards to a sequel that could hit our theatres in a year's time. Actually, we could be talking about this sequel in a year's time. But that's what I got from it anyway. They seem to be pretty confident this movie that's coming out in the next few weeks is going to go down well with the fan base anyway. So normally when they're talking about sequels, that suggests they are pretty confident that the first one is going to be a hit.
Yeah, well, we said that, Stephen, and that's usually the case. But of course, look at the Last Jedi, Star Wars The Last Jedi. They announced that Rian Johnson was getting a trilogy 2-3 months prior to its release. Everybody thought, my God, this is amazing. The film's going to be incredible. Yeah. They've got confidence in this guy. Look how that turned out. Split the fan base right down the middle. Half thought it was the next coming of Jesus. The other thought it was utter shite. So, is it a good sign? I don't know. It's Blumhouse, and as they do say in this article at the bottom, they've got previews for this. They released Paranormal Activity back in 2009. Did very well. Kind of a set the ball rolling with that renaissance for the found footage genre, and then they churned out sequels year in, year out after it. So that wasn't a great franchise for me. The first film was okay. After that, very much diminishing returns. If this is going to be the same, then I'd say forget about it. But as you did say as well, may hint that it's a bit of a spoil, in there as well. Mike Myers is going to survive this film. Or maybe he's just going to become an omnipotent paranormal being where he stops and ceases being a man who's been in an asylum and now becomes some demonic entity where you can decapitate him and he keeps coming back again and again. But what I have noticed about the trailers as well in the lead up to this film is that it has been focusing more on the character of Laurie Strode and her gearing up to meet this chap again, the ominous Michael Myers, and how she's going to handle it. So maybe this is going to be more focused on her, how she handles it. Maybe she gets out barely. Maybe she deals him a semi-mortal blow, but he survives. He scampers off like a little bitch and comes back for another film. I don't know how they're going to work it out. All I know is that I want this film that's coming out this year to be a success first and foremost. I want to go and see this, enjoy this. Hopefully it's better than all that other crap that preceded it. Focus on this film first before we then start talking about sequels. We've seen it before. The franchise is getting ahead of themselves. We spoke about it last week with the Monsterverse. They get ahead of themselves, started announcing all different characters and actors. Turned out it was an utter abomination. DC as well got ahead of themselves, announcing things out. Didn't work out, so I'd like to see them just focus on this, see how this does, and then step into talking about sequels after that. Because they've scrubbed it. It's starting from scratch. It's a new slate from the original into this, so it does open up the prospect of moving on to potential sequels after this. But we know about Blumhouse as well. They've got a propensity for putting out shite films, low budget, but they can put out some very good films as well. Obviously an extremely successful horror genre studio, so hopefully this is the latter, not the former. Very good film, and they could put out high quality going forward.
Well, one way or another, John, we will find out in the next 2 or 3 weeks how that film goes down. I'm looking forward to it personally. I can't wait to see it because I've never seen a Halloween movie in the cinema. I think that's probably the right place to go. But we're going to move on to another article that came in from Screen Rant in regards to the first images from Paramount's remake of Pet Sematary have arrived. Now, I've had a look at these photos. Some of them are quite intriguing. Yeah. And it teases an all-new vision of one of Stephen King's darkest and most terrifying works. King's original novel was published in 1983 and was adapted as a film in 1989. A sequel called Pet Sematary 2 was released in 1992. And this new version was going to be directed by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Weidmeyer from Starry Eyes fame, from a script by Jeff Buller and David Kajganich. I think that's how you pronounce the chap's name. Anyway, I remember seeing the 1989 version, John. I was 13. I probably shouldn't have seen this at that age. It stayed with me for months after seeing it. Very disturbing movie, but you've got to expect that from a Stephen King, one of his works. This stars John Lithgow, Jason Clarke's in there as well, and a whole host of other names. I know that the John Lithgow character, he is taking over the role of Fred Gwynn. You may remember him from playing the judge in My Cousin Vinny, John, and Herman Munster, more famously. Yes. So John Lithgow, he's an accomplished actor. I've, enjoyed his performances over the last 30, 40 years. But it's going to be very interesting. Jason Clarke, as I said, is in there as well. He's a bit of a hit and miss actor with myself. Not his performances, but some of his choices of film really been a mixed bag in my opinion. But it's, this adaptation, Stephen King's books over the last couple of years have actually been a bit of a success. Certainly with Gerard's Game and more famously It, which we're now getting a sequel to in the next year or so. So I'm looking forward to it, John. It was as I said, it was a movie that did stay with me. I hadn't read the actual book, but it was just a film, one of those films that really disturbing. And looking at that cast, I'll certainly give this a bash.
Yeah, well, I didn't see the original 1989 film, Stephen, because I was a toddler. So it would have been very disturbing if I'd been shown that at that age. But even afterwards, I never managed to see it, which is a shame, really, because I can't really base the original or this off of the original. I don't know what to expect, which may be a good thing in the end if it's a better film. Because what I have heard people saying is that it's not like one of the absolute classic Stephen King adaptations to film where you can't better it. Most people seem to be saying that the original was a good film. It was scary for its time, but it can be bettered, and it's certainly one they could maybe remake. Looking at the cast, you're right, the cast is very promising straight away. Jason Clarke is a guy I have quite liked him across the board. Most of his films have been pretty decent. His performances in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, The Man with the Iron Heart, even he's popping up First Man very shortly, and he looks decent in that. Mudbound as well.
He was really good in Everest as well, John. Yeah. That was a film I really enjoyed. Child 44, it wasn't a large role in it, but he made his impression in it. Terminator Genesis, so it just... Yeah. it wasn't his fault. The movie, the movie itself shouldn't have been made. I just didn't think he made a good John Connor. I don't, and that's not him. It was just the writing, the way the character was written was the problem. But as you said, he is overall he does make more good films than bad films.
Yeah, and obviously John Lithgow's in there as well, fantastic actor, and I have heard people who have seen the original say that he's a perfect fit for the character of Judd Crandall. You were also speaking about him, Stephen. But the original one was played by the judge from My Cousin Vinny, is that right?
Fred Gwynne, yeah.
Fred Gwynne, so yeah, he looks like he could be a perfect fit. Apparently the character of Zelda was a horrendous sight. I've actually googled it, and it is a terrifying sight, I have to tell you. Looks like some weird heroin addict you'd see in a corner in Glasgow, and my God, there's a few of them stoating around. I should know, I've seen them. So apparently this one though in this film is going to be more accurate to the novel. It's going to be a younger character. Don't know whether she's risen from the dead or not. I don't know whether that's the case. I've never seen the original, but the photos themselves, really intrigued by them. The cat sitting in the middle of the road looks amazing. That's a cat you're not wanting to mess with, man. That looks demonic just looking at it. That tangled fur, that is not a cat to be trifled with. I like the shot of Jason Clarke and John Lithgow standing there looking a little bit ominous in a foggy setting, wood setting. I believe this is the cemetery. And they're not giving a huge amount away, but the setting's very promising. It's a wooded setting. I'm presuming this house is nearby the woods in the cemetery, and it looks very intriguing.
Yeah, it's classic Stephen King, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that isolation. And it's certainly not a place that I would...
Details as well, Stephen, with the pet cemetery on the old tree. It looks it's very intriguing, the detail they've put into it.
I'll certainly be going along to see this, John. I am very much like Halloween. I want to see more horror films in the cinema because I think the experience is certainly different. But we're going to move on, but we are staying on the horror theme here. This is, kind of anyway. This is from It star Sophia Lillis, who is cast in Hansel and Gretel retelling. Now, for me, the actor Lillis was certainly one of the standouts in last year's Stephen King's It, John.
Yeah.
I thought she was I thought she did a very good job in the movie. The character as well was such a tragic figure as well, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And for an actress of a very young age, I felt that she handled the role very well. But this is she's been cast in this new project, which is a film retelling of the classic Brothers Grimm fairy tale titled Gretel and Hansel, not Hansel and Gretel. But I will let you in, John, anyway, about the intriguing storyline that's going to be happening in this retelling of the classic fairy tale. Yeah,
well, I don't know if there's been any other films prior to this, Stephen. I presume there probably has. It says there, 2013. Hansel and the Gretel Witch Hunters was released. Couldn't have been very good because they're already looking to make another version of the story. So obviously the classic German children's stories. The Brothers Grimm, they were famed for delivering interesting stories into children's laps in Germany. Stories that were very dark, took on some interesting themes, and I'm sure they helped shape these children into fine adults, upstanding adults. Certainly they must have done, because Germany's been very productive over the centuries, so I'm not going to slag them. I've never read any of their novels though, but this one story is intriguing. It's all about a brother and a sister being kidnapped by a cannibalistic witch living deep in a forest and in a house constructed of cake, confectionery, candy and many more delicious treats than are imaginable. The children escape with their lives by outwitting her, and it's also going to be very dark. There's darker elements in there. It's a cannibalistic witch. But just what intrigues me is just the setting, this confectionery cake setting in the middle of a woods. And I mean, I've never heard of the story, I've never read the story, but whenever we get to see these classic tales getting retold and put to screen, it always intrigues me. And as you did say, the actress is superb. She was absolutely outstanding in it. That was one of my takeaways, just the way these band of unlikely strange bedfellows, the way they grouped together and just formed an unlikely alliance in the face of Pennywise. They were all good, but she was very good. As you said, a very tragic figure in it. Obviously been abused by her father and stuff like that, but that's what struck me. Very good actress, and it's nice to see she's getting another shot in a decent sized production by all accounts. I presume it's going to be decent sized anyway. But yeah, very interesting story. Very, very intriguing, very different, very dark. I don't know what genre they're going to try and force this in. Is it going to be fantasy, horror? I don't know.
I think those previous movies, John, was more fantasy with a tinge of horror,
Yeah.
but I think this is going to be more horror, this one. There's not a lot, you know, as far as, I don't think they've got a director on board yet. The only thing I do know is that they've got a writer on board. I think his name's Rob Hayes.
Yeah.
He's one of the co-writers. I don't know who the other writer is, but it's very early days, this announcement. But Sophia Lillis, she's only 16, John. I couldn't believe it when I saw her date of birth there. But she's got such a, you know, for someone of that age, she's got quite a decent CV. She's done a few short films and stuff like that, John. She's involved in Sharp Objects, which was a mini-series from this year as well. She starred in 8 episodes as a character, young Camille, but I don't really know too much about her other than from the It movie. But for me, she was a standout actor.
I thought Mullet Boy for me.
Yeah, him as well. Out with obviously Pennywise. Her character was really the one that stood out to me. I think it's because of, as you said, the sort of backstory to the character. It was very tragic,
which is intriguing because I've just been reading more about the story, Stephen, and they say obviously the Brothers Grimm, there's double entendres going in there, themes, they explore very deep themes, and they say that there's a stepmother mother figure who the children are trying to get away from. I think they're away wandering in this woods, and they actually end up, this witch tries to cook them in an oven, incidentally, but they end up forcing her into the oven to cook her, this hideous hag of a woman apparently, and the stepmother dies immediately after the witch dies. So the themes that it's saying that they're exploring there is that this mother or stepmother has also been abusive. She's a bit of a bitch to the children, and when the witch passes away, it's obviously like a metaphorical representation of the mother himself. So we've seen her exploring these themes in it, being a victim of abuse and having to deal with that and how it's empowered her. This is a similar concept, so we know she's capable of doing it.
And we're just going to move on to our final section in the movie Burner News, and it's something that we introduced last week, John, in regards to, we put a poll up every week, and we certainly get a great response for this one. And the simple question was, which of these David Fincher films is your favourite from the choices below? Those choices being Seven from 1995, Fight Club from 1999, Zodiac from 2007, and The Social Network from 2010. I think it was pretty obvious what was going to win this one, John. With 42% at 7, on 34% it was Fight Club, and Zodiac and The Social Network both sharing 12%. That's not to say they're not good films, they certainly are, but probably not on the same level as Seven and Fight Club. David Fincher obviously collaborating with Brad Pitt in both those films, but Seven for me is that's the one I went for as well. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought a great cast, such a disturbing storyline as well. So, like we were just talking about with Pet Sematary, this one, when I saw this back in 1995, haunted me for a few years. Just those levels of depravity, John, certainly stayed with me for years after it, but I'll let you in anyway.
Yeah, much the same as you, Stephen. I picked it 7 because I just think first and foremost, he's an incredible director. Just across the board, just consistently churns out fantastic films, I feel. Fight Club was very close in my mind. I fought between the two. I thought Fight Club was incredible. Obviously, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. Just the twist at the end, he's kind of a madness, and just it was an incredibly crafted film. But for me, 7, as you did say, just a trio of fantastic performances. Brad Pitt, outstanding as the detective working alongside Morgan Freeman's character, and Kevin Spacey. Obviously, we've found out he's a bit of a beast, a bit of a wrong'un. So that just adds even more edge to that character he played. Looking back on it with 2020 hindsight, he was a bit of a vindictive, evil, disturbing figure, bit of darkness in there, bit of a beast, and now we've discovered that Kevin Spacey himself is a bit of a beast. So that just adds more edge. But it was a fantastic film, and listen, I'm not taking anything away from Kevin Spacey, regardless of what the man's done. He is a beast, no doubt about it. He's a wrong'un, but what an actor, and he's outstanding in this. I can't imagine anybody else playing it. The ending of that film is just mesmerising, fantastic. Zodiac as well, outstanding. Social Network, the clear, the weak link in that poll, but I know you've done that intentionally, Stephen. You didn't put Panic Room or one of the other ones in because you knew that 7 would run away with.
Panic Room and Alien 3. I deliberately missed them out. A lot of people asking the question, why Alien 3 wasn't there. You know, when you're putting these polls together, you have to think about, you know, when you likes of the level of quality of Seven and Fight Club, it really does make those other two slots very redundant. You could really have a face-off. That would really annoy a lot of people. You know, we had one person that said they can't choose. This is hell. And I get that. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, asking someone to pick their favourite child. And in this case, Seven and Fight Club are very close. 42%, 34%. It's not that big a gap. Two fantastic films. Zodiac, yeah, John, you're right. It's a great film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the cast of Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal, and Mark Ruffalo, I thought the trio was very, you know, I thought they worked very well in that film, and the look and the feel of that movie as well was very authentic for its time and its period. The Social Network, I thought handled the whole Facebook thing, you know, very well. How the Facebook, you know, app came about. I thought the performances in that film as well was amazing. But that was more of a drama than, you know, when you look at the other three films, that certainly probably is the weakest one out of the four, and that's not to say it's a bad film. It just goes to show how talented David Fincher is as a filmmaker, that you can say The Social Network is probably the lame duck when it isn't a bad film.
Oh, and even his latest film, Stephen, the one that I've last seen, Gone Girl, outstanding as well. But I digress. That brings us to the end of this week's episode of Movie Burner News, where we break down all the latest entertainment news. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us once again, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Movie Burner blog rundown.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.